This video is proof that I live in a simulation and I'm forced to repeat the same things year after year. It really doesn't feel like my life progresses, it feels like it just gets more frustrating. And while that might be dramatic to some of you, you don't have to sit in your nice air-conditioned room and make videos about a game you enjoy. So think about that next time you critique me, spoiled brats. This time last year, I was being called a hypocrite because I didn't want to deal with grenade spam, but I didn't mind debunking campers in Modern Warfare. My thought process was, people are really bad at taking somebody out of a power position or even a single room, and I noticed that back during the beta of Modern Warfare, where I got my VTOL just by sitting in one spot in the bathroom and nobody had the forethought to open the door and flashbang me or anything. I wasn't even using claymores, but they just couldn't stop me, and I sort of came to the opinion, and I still have this opinion, it's tweaked a bit, but I still have the opinion that people are really bad at taking somebody out of a camping spot. And sometimes so am I, but in every Call of Duty game, no matter how fast-paced it is, it's a really good skill to be able to take people out of a powerful position, out of a room or a window or some sort of tower of some kind, doesn't matter. It's good to know how to do that, how to prioritize them and what to look for, but I didn't think people knew how to do that, so I thought they should learn to counter that. Where I started getting called a hypocrite is that I said I didn't want to counter nade spam. People like GG Reloaded, the height of video game criticism on YouTube, decided to tell me that I was a hypocrite because I didn't want to counter nade spam, but I was fine with working to counter people that are camping. Because one is a tactic, it's a frustrating, damn near skillless tactic, but it's one nonetheless. Like a lot of things in Call of Duty, it doesn't take the most skill, but it is a tactic. That's actually how you could describe most things in Call of Duty, but anyway, I'm okay with debunking a player's decision making. If someone makes the decision to lock down one room on the map, I can work around that, I have lots of options. Whereas nade spam just requires you to run flak jacket, blast shield, whatever it's been throughout the years, nade spam isn't really a tactic in my opinion. In fact, I thoroughly believe that nade spam is an unfortunate symptom of giving people, you guessed it, too many nades. When you guarantee people explosives and allow them to regenerate those explosives or carry two at a time, objective game mode specifically, but the entire game in general, is going to be that much more hell. Whenever I'm given grenades, whenever people are given grenades, we like to just throw them around every corner. We see someone in a room, throw a frag in there. You think someone's coming around the corner, throw a concussion grenade. Just always keep lethals and tacticals flowing out of your inventory so that people have less chances to win gunfights and they just have to deal with your barrage of bullshittery. In objective game modes, every time somebody hears the enemy has the hard point, they're capturing the headquarters, it's just C4, frag grenade, Molotov, concussion, flashbang, smoke grenade, whatever it might be, constantly. I didn't really worry about nade spam in games like Black Ops 2 or in Call of Duty Ghosts because you had to give up something to have those grenades. My least favorite part of the COD World War II rework is that it just increased the number of nades people could have, and so it increased the number of times I walked into a bouncing Betty, got hit by a sticky bomb, or got concussioned. Equipment play is a lot more skillless, it requires a lot less decision making, and now in Call of Duty we have perks that allow you to recharge your grenades over time. They become a crutch, they become a way to subvert gunfights and to just barrage objectives. They're frustrating and I'm really sick of dealing with them. And in games where the gunfights are a little bit harder or require a bit more persistence or skill, like we're gonna see in Cold War, where you're gonna wanna get headshots, you're gonna wanna use fast DPS weapons, you're gonna wanna be jumping and drop shotting, you're gonna stay moving and stay accurate at the same time. You know, a lot of people are going to try to subvert those gunfights with shotguns, launchers, grenades, and so, I don't know, this is pretty obvious to me as somebody who's played a shit ton of FPS games. This is just what happens. We saw this in Battlefield 1. It was just nade spam constantly. Even in games where the gunfights are very easy and the maps are simplistic or whatever, people are still just going to, if they have them, throw them. I hate to bring up old shit, but I also don't. It'd be hypocritical for me to have said I don't want to counter campers, but I do want to counter rushers, or the inverse of that. Or, I'm okay with countering RPGs, but not okay with countering frag grenades. Those statements you could say are hypocritical because they're a little bit closer together. You know, why are you not willing to deal with one piece of equipment, but you're okay with dealing with another piece of equipment? Like, I don't want to counter a snapshot grenade, but I'm fine with countering flashbangs. Like, could you imagine? But Obviously, situations are still more nuanced than that, and there might be a damn good reason as to why. Just in the hypothetical I pull out of my ass there, snapshots work through walls, concussions and flashbangs don't. So that could be a very, very fair reason as to why somebody doesn't want to deal with snapshot grenades, see what I mean? Camping, rushing, quickscoping, playing conservatively, playing the objective, these are tactics, these are things that you do, these are the decisions you make. If the game gives you frag grenades, then playing the objective means spamming it with your frag grenades. In game modes like Hardpoint, where people are not surviving as long as in other game modes, they get on the hardpoint and then they get into some gunfights, maybe they win 5 but they can't win 6, and then they die, they respawn with their grenades back. So I was thinking about maybe they could do the Black Ops 4 thing where your grenades are on cooldown, but I never really liked that idea. I think your equipment should be your equipment. It just makes more sense that way. It is a part of your kit. It's a part of your utility as a player in the game. So I don't think your grenade should be on cooldown after you throw it. I've seen that idea bounced around and I'm not too into it. We already have field upgrades. We don't need more field upgrades. So I have a different idea. Let's take that wild card that gives you more lethals and tacticals and delete it. Get it out of the game. That's a big one, because you don't need to have 4 fucking grenades on your person. I say delete it. It adds nothing to the game other than nade spam. That's not more utility, that's just nade spam. It adds nothing to the game worthwhile. There's already a perk in the game that allows you to replenish your grenades every 25 seconds, I believe, something like that. So that's already there. You don't need to start with 2 and have the potential to have them recharge throughout the game. And before any of you say just use Flak Jacket or just use Tac Mask, it's not really useful to use Tac Mask and Flak Jacket if somebody can throw 4 grenades on your hardpoint. And to run Tac Mask and Flak Jacket in Cold War, you have to have Perk Greed or Lawbreaker. So you're gonna have to use your wild cards to be able to counter both, and people get to have both by default. So this is already an issue. Anyway, we also need to make it so that concussion, grenades, or flashbangs, they don't stop your movement, okay? I don't care about Tac Mask or no Tac Mask, regardless, your movement should not be stopped by somebody's concussion grenade. These things will affect you even if they're behind you. They have no business stopping you from moving. Blur the vision, make your character's hand go up, and then with Tac Mask blurs your vision a little bit for a second or so. That's fine, but don't take away my ability to move when they go off. There is another idea that I have that I'm not married to, that you could get rid of your lethal and tactical if you don't want them, and you can run Field Upgrade Pro like in Modern Warfare. So your 2 field upgrades will be charging simultaneously. That way you could have a SAM turret and a field mic, you could have a trophy system and a gas mine. Instead of always having a frag and tactical grenade, some people would opt for Field Upgrade Pro. This adds for more flexibility, more customization, and it results in less nade spam. So yeah, get rid of danger close. Nobody needs to be walking around with 4 grenades on their person. Get out of here with that bullshit. People should be able to spawn in with 1 lethal and 1 tactical. That's it. If you want to add a perk that allows them to throw them quickly and then give them the recharge perk so that they can recharge their equipment quickly, that's fine with me. You know what? Go for that. It still allows people to play with their equipment and have fun without turning the entire game into one consistent, constant explosive sound. Giving people lethals and tacticals by default is a no-no. Allowing them to have extra based on a wildcard or perk is also a no-no. And then, when you add on the fact that they can't get rid of them to have something else, that means they're always going to have them. So even if somebody doesn't want to have a lethal and tactical, they'd rather have more attachments, more perks, a different field upgrade, too bad. You have C4 on your class, might as well use it. That pesky person is trying to get around the corner. Go ahead and show him what's for with a little bit of a RB press. And that was my entire life cycle, my entire experience in Modern Warfare's life cycle, and I hated it. I just hated it. And I called it from the beginning because it's obvious. I didn't call it because I'm a genius. I didn't call it because I'm so smart and played so many shooters. No, if you give people the option to run a knife in an FPS game, someone's gonna choose to run a knife. If you give people the option to run an RPG, they're gonna probably run an RPG. But if you give everybody grenades, everybody's going to be throwing grenades. It's like, oh, I almost lost that gunfight. Good thing he's injured and I'm injured and I can start reloading. Oh, cool, he used stem and a Molotov and now I'm burning and he is at full health and I can't win. Like, that type of play is so irritating. You get 1 KD players, I know, unlike myself, that just charge in because they know they can. Because they have 2 concussions and 2 frags or 2 Simtexes or 2 C4s, and they're just ready to blow up the entire fucking room. I love it when I show up on the minimap, and then the next thing I know, a concussion grenade comes flying out from around a corner and stuns me, and then you have some child with no adult supervision sliding around the corner with a SPAS 12, peppering me while I can't see anything. Guess I should have just been running TAC mask on every class throughout the entire life cycle of the game. Anyway, this whole conversation gives me a headache because I don't think I should have to be having it. I feel like Flak Jacket and TAC mask are gonna just completely negate the rest of the perks in that category if they do not fix this system, because there's no reason to run Engineer and see people's landmines on the ground and UAVs in the sky when there's a frag grenade in your mouth. Run Flak Jacket. See you when I see you guys. Goodbye.